Deadpool and Wolverine. We're all excited. We're heading to the theater now. We're trying to get those popcorn buckets. If there is none, we riot. Deadpool and Wolverine. What a movie. Holy shit.
What a movie, dude.
This is going to be a spoiler-filled review.
This is movie of the year already.
This is spoilers. 100% spoilers.
Before we, let's give our,
a non-spoiler
impressions of the
review,
movie.
rated out of 10. This way you kind of
Yeah, we'll go around. Brandon, you start. We're starting
9 out
at
of 10 for me.
9?
Yeah.
Right. Oh,
Oh, that's good.
I think
That's good.
he's on.
That's okay. And
was
Forrest,
good.
let's go to you. We're going to 3 o'clock.
Okay. For me, 9 out of 10 as well. Literally the only issue I have is I don't even know what the issue is.
This guy's insane.
There's something. I'm fucking Andrew Nova.
Guy's insane. But there's something for me. 10 out of 10. When I go to the movies, I go to have fun, and
Yes.
I go to be surprised, and I go to have a feeling in my chest where I'm like, holy! And that happened like 20 times during this movie. That is a 10 out of 10 for me. I had fun the entire time. There were surprises, even like this. There was a bunch of leaks for this movie, but the surprises that were still in it were amazing. I feel like everybody was treated with some sort of respect, and also like some characters were funny and how the story played out for them. Some didn't go well, but they were given screen time and like they were given a send off, and it was amazing. 10 out of 10. Christian.
Yes. Also, I was walking out of the theater and I was like 10 out of 10. I don't understand Metacritic. They're insane. This movie's great. It's so good. Like this is like Marvel has been trash for the past like 5 years. It's so rare to get anything that's remotely interesting with Marvel. And yeah, even now, like after this, I'm still not excited for Brave World. I need more trailers. So reigniting MCU stuff a little bit. Honestly, it's not like a complete zero for me. I do like that there's like some stuff sizzling there with Deadpool. Highly recommend you go watch this. There was a fear that this would be like, because like you mentioned that somebody said this is like the worst Deadpool. It's like,
yeah,
no.
I saw some
It's
early
the best
reviews
Deadpool.
for that. I had my fears of that going in, and then I was just like, there's a certain point, maybe not even halfway through, I was like, what the f*** are you talking about? Like, it's ridiculous to even say
it's
that.
Awesome. So
Like, and okay, there was like 4 characters there, but we're gonna get to that. But like, they weren't cameos.
No, they
were in the movie.
Yeah.
If somebody considers those cameos, no, they were characters in the movie. Like, and we're gonna get to that. Okay.
I want to talk about it.
Yeah, we're gonna get to it. Okay,
so yes, 10-10. Let's go into spoilers.
Wait. We got to average out our scores. Empty Mind's official score. We'll start that with
That's
all of
like
our
a
movie
9
reviews
or
going now.
something.
10, 9, 9. That is
Probably 9.5.
38, so it'd be probably 9.5. We're after the review. I want to talk about lessons learned from this movie. I learned a lesson from watching this movie. I literally, something in there, I was just like, yeah, like let's fuck them.
Oh yeah, let's
I'll
do
talk
it.
about that.
Let's
And then
go.
also, let's after that talk about where the f*** they go next.
Oh
guy
yeah.
had
So it all begins
Tiffany?
with, people were worried about Deadpool's treatment of Logan because they're bringing a character back that had a great send off. A lot of people think. I, for one, I don't really care, to be honest.
This you're like all people think or some people think.
I don't know what I said, but yes, he's digging up this grave. He's looking. Oh, wait, no. How does no? He's like slicing up TVA members for some shit.
No, it starts off with him digging.
Okay, so he's digging. He's looking for Wolverine, and as an audience member, you're just like, you know what? He just wants to find Wolverine to partner up with him. We don't know any of his motivation behind it yet, and because he's like, hey, like this is everybody in theater was like, yeah, you know what? Because right when Deadpool said that's not how regeneration works. You don't die from that shit. You don't die from a tree stump. So he's like digging him up, and he's like, "Fuck!" When it's just a skeleton.
How did you guys think it was going to be revealed? Was it just going to be a skeleton?
I thought it was going to be completely dead because he was just chilling under the ground.
No, there was a small part of me that was like, maybe he's down there.
No, I thought that maybe they would like find a life force from him that they could bring that one back somehow, and like he's the one,
the soul.
Yeah,
Toy.
No, I figured it was going to be dead because I knew it was a Logan from a different universe. But yes, so I thought it was cool because yes, it starts with him in the location where Logan died in Logan and where he was buried, and he was digging up and he found his adamantium bones.
Yeah. Fucking crazy. Like that is now canon. That X-Men Logan,
true.
the most fucking crazy thing ever. His weapon, his body's fucking taken out of the fucking ground and like fuck.
Yeah,
tossed around. Amazing fight sequence that ensues.
Yes.
Really
so what
sick.
happens is the TVA shows up because Deadpool's fucking around with shit. Which I thought it was cool that now we see that Deadpool and that Wolverine were in the same universe the whole time. But then it's kind of weird because it's like Wolverine was in the future at that point. So I don't know exactly how. We're not supposed to think too hard about how it lines up.
You know how there's two Colossus? Like there's one that's big that we know from Deadpool.
Yeah.
And there's a little one. It's like Juggernaut. There's two of them. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
It sort of mixes. That's fine.
It's okay because like the movie doesn't take much seriously.
Yes.
So it doesn't feel like, oh, we should be thinking too hard.
Speaking on that point, a lot of people, not a lot, well, there's just people out there that are upset of the treatment of the TVA because people highly regard Loki, and I also think Loki's great. So who here has watched Loki? I know you saw season 1.
Season 1, yeah.
No, I haven't seen it.
Nothing?
I haven't
Okay.
seen shit.
I've seen season 1 and 2, and I think both are pretty damn good.
Yeah.
There's nothing here that causes any problems with the TVA. It's fine canonically.
The way
that's
it
what
operated, like the way that the way the TVA operated, like I don't know. That's where season 2 I think got into. This wasn't just jumping around a bit, but Cassandra at the end with all the tentacles and shit, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't that similar to something Loki did in
I didn't fully understand the gobbledygook like science, it is similar. But what Loki did was, I think they were playing with matter and antimatter, and Loki was actually stringing actual timelines, and he weaved it into a cloak that he wore.
We'll have to explain a little bit of this situation that we're talking about.
Yeah.
So Loki was saving the universe.
Yeah, there was, what would they call it? There was a machine that was in place that Kang made, which weaved the sacred timeline and got rid of all the bullshit timelines. But Loki, because the machine was fucking up, so Loki decided to sacrifice himself basically by spending an eternity all alone and like weaving all the timelines into a cloak that he just wears, and he has to sit in a chair all alone somewhere else.
When you think about it, Cassandra Nova is kind of like the antithesis of what Loki is, because Loki's like in that thing trying to save all the timelines. Well, we're talking about the end.
There's similar.
I didn't do it this time.
You did.
I did.
You brought this up.
I didn't bring that up.
You brought up Cassandra Nova using the machine.
Just the tentacles, though, and why? Because
but it's the end.
Because Logan does the tentacles thing.
I was trying to explain Loki. I brought up the TVA because I wanted to explain the controversy there.
He brought up Cassandra Nova using the machine.
I brought up Loki's tentacles.
Yeah, and you said Cassandra.
Because they're the same tentacles.
Yeah, but that's the end. So then we had to talk about it.
There's similar imagery with like the fading, the destroying of the timeline.
Yeah.
All of that was used in season 2 of Loki. So
I know,
cool
it's
stuff.
cool.
TVA is fine. That fight scene, fucking awesome.
Yeah, so what happens is the TVA shows up in the nice wintry scene of where Logan was. Well, Logan's bones were, and Deadpool had no struggle with them. He just was an absolute badass.
What an amazing credit sequence.
Fucking
all the whipping Wolverine's skull around and then showing like Hugh Jackman or something like that.
Yeah, and using the adamant.
Did that? Did you see that in that
Don't
scene?
do that to look at me.
What happened?
He was stroking that
for a good 30 seconds. I was waiting for you to notice.
That scene where he uses Wolverine's claws and it goes in that guy and that other guy's ass and he's just like this.
Yeah, so what happens is he has the bones and he puts on the claws on his arm and he uses them. But it's funny because he doesn't use them too good.
He stabs himself often.
Yeah, he fucked up because I guess he used a sword. But what happens is he uses the claws, stabs one guy in the dick, and stabs another guy in the ass. And he's like doing this, like fucking one guy in the ass and fucking stabbing one guy in the dick. And they're like, it's funny because he's stuck, but they're still alive. And they're like, why are you doing this? Oh my God.
You are, that guy says, you are sick. So after that, we get, it's like, classic Deadpool fashion. You're probably wondering how I got here.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he goes back and he's meeting with...
very reminiscent of the first movie.
Yeah.
He's meeting with Happy Hogan. And he's applying to be an Avenger.
Yeah.
Was that the next step, or was that the next step? The part, or was that the family stuff?
No, it was Happy Hogan.
Because maybe it was stapling shit onto his head.
So,
then he was.
He was going to different universes, right? So that it wasn't in his universe. I think it said like Earth 616.
Yeah, I was confused at the time. Oh no, that was his original one. Yeah,
is Earth 616 the normal?
I believe that's the normal one with the Avengers.
Okay, so what was the 1000 where
I think that's his
10,005.
or Fox. I think that was Fox.
I think it might be Fox.
So yeah, so he goes meets Happy Hogan and they have a discussion how he wants to be an Avenger and he gets rejected. So then he's like gives up the hero persona and he just becomes a regular dude. And for some reason his fucking girlfriend just leaves him.
Yeah, and his girlfriend leaves him because he basically left his superhero persona behind, and he's more of a coward now because once he was rejected and pretty much told he's a loser, and you should, instead of trying to be up here like where I am, be a little down here where you think where you're comfortable.
That's what Happy Hogan said,
and that's what he does, and he loses his wife,
his
or
mojo.
his girlfriend. Yeah. And so that's
drink.
where that kind of happens. Well, yeah, I can't remember any specifics about the conversation with Happy Hogan. It was cool just having that around.
It was very cool. I enjoyed that conversation. And then we see Peter. Peter's alive. Peter's doing good. He actually had a big part in this movie. But he's like, we got to get back in the suit. And he has his own Deadpool suit in his locker. And then Deadpool's like, no. And then we see it's Deadpool's birthday. And he has everybody there. There's Negasonic Teenage Warhead, Yukio,
even
Colossus,
one of the guys he saved from his team. The guy.
Yeah, for some reason he saved Dark Star
or something like that. But yeah,
he goes to. I know he lives in like Mojo World or some shit.
Yes, he comes from Planet Mojo, and he's kind of a dick, according to Deadpool.
Yeah, so very strange. So he didn't save Terry Crews. I guess he let him die.
So they never brought back Lucky, where the girl.
No, Domino was not in this. So yeah, very strange. I guess he saved Mojo World guy Peter, but he let he has electric powers, but it's Terry Crews. I guess dies as well as Zeitgeist,
Invisible Man,
and Brad Pitt.
I mean, who might have been there?
The Vanisher. So then so then he has his birthday party, and then the TVA shows up.
Oh, the fucking jokes in this scene too.
Yeah,
I know. Like the constant. Fuck, what was it?
There is a joke like every 2 fucking seconds.
It's hard to remember every fucking joke. It's just like
it's fucking hilarious.
He's like pegging's not new for me, but it's new for Disney.
Yeah, they have a.
Yeah.
He like specifically, it's like a slight.
And then he looks at the camera and winks. Yeah.
And then the TVA captures him.
Yes.
And they take him to their base, and we meet this guy named Paradox.
I like Paradox, honestly. He could have been boring as hell, like fucking Agent Smith, but no, he was a little more.
Yeah, he had a very different personality.
I'm jumping the end for a sec, but I love what he does in the end, where he's like lying, but it's really good. Anyways,
when he was lying there, I was like,
not the end.
No, but
hey, I jumped for a second.
No, let's go back. I kind of believed him for a second. I was like, they might believe him.
Let's save him.
So Paradox looks at Deadpool and tells him he's special. He wants him to live, but his universe is going to die.
It's not explained specifically why he pulled Deadpool out of that. They didn't even say that he was a variant, which is the reason that TVA usually brings people out of their timelines.
Yeah.
They say that how the higher ups want Deadpool out of there. And also this is the same scene where we learned that Paradox is working on his own and that the higher ups don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, and it's very strange because we don't know why he saved Deadpool, because we learned that the Logan that died was the one holding his universe together. Yeah. Now, I thought, like, when he said he's special, I thought it was going to be like Deadpool was the one holding the universe together. But no, it was Logan and he died. So now he said, it's very strange because his universe is going to die anyway, but Paradox wants to speed it up.
So this is also where dude, I love this joke of like Deadpool walks on stage. Oh yeah, okay, we gotta
talk about the suit up scene.
The suit up scene, yeah, where the fucking like he grabs the nuts and then he's it's like, what the fuck? Okay, so there's this scene, like this guy in the sort of not audience, but he's like works for the TVA. He's on off to the side, and Deadpool's like, that guy. We kept saying the guy is fucking into me.
Like he's he really into me.
And like at that, I love that setup for the joke because there's a payoff later. So when you're sitting there, you're like, Deadpool's fucking around, right? He's not, but the guy's actually later on Wolverine's. You know what I mean? We can't go into it, but he's like, oh fuck.
So what happened is
Deadpool's ass is going towards him.
Deadpool doesn't have a suit. He needs a new suit. Yeah. And they have this fucking weird tailor that he's short, has a beard, and Deadpool is suiting up, and they did a riff on like the Batman suit up, you know, where they show like turning and your nipples and stuff. But this one was way over the top, and it showed like Deadpool's tits, and then all of a sudden the guy's grabbing his nuts, and then it's his ass, and then he's grabbing his nuts.
There's a constant.
That was fun.
He repeatedly used the shot of him slapping his own ass. like 3 times. It's
And then
really
the guy's
good.
grabbing his nuts over
I know.
and over.
It's like a real, yeah.
Well, yeah, the funniest part to me was like I thought that like knowing Deadpool, he would be the one saying, "Oh yeah, go do that, whatever." All of a
But it
sudden,
wasn't him.
but then at the end, he was just like, "Yeah, and that guy's a predator." And I was like, what the fuck?
Because it's partly it's
I
like
was
you don't
like,
know
that
that
wasn't-
it's the Taylor doing it as well, right? But it's like the jokes are so fucking good
And
in
I
this
was like,
movie.
that. Oh man.
Yeah, it was
Oh
so
my God.
fun. You guys got to fire that guy.
Also, by the way, fire him. Anyways.
It was so fucking
Fuck.
good. So then now he's got a redder suit. He's got more
Yes.
like closer to the Deadpool from the comics. Super red. It's not that dark red. So now he's like, fuck you, Paradox. I'm going to try to save my world. So what he does is he steals a little
yeah.
device and then he jumps towards the guy who's horny for him.
Yeah,
And he's like,
just
"Fuck," and the guy's like, oh.
The guy, like, I know it's like Deadpool's ass is flying straight for him, and he has a smile on his face.
And then he teleports, and now we're seeing Deadpool is trying to find a Wolverine to replace his. And we see so many.
a lot of them, I feel like, weren't even resolved. Deadpool shows up and he's like, "Hey, what's up?" And then it doesn't cut back to like what was the exchange? We got to talk about some of these Wolverine cameos.
We're going to
confused.
talk about some of these.
So the first one I'm going to bring up is
Is that where he goes immediately after he?
yeah,
leaves
he's like, I'm
TK?
gonna. Actually, that's when he goes to Logan and he's like digging up that shit.
Yeah.
Then after that he
Eventually,
disappears
like,
again.
goes there. Okay. Yeah.
So there was a Wolverine that was like 5 feet tall.
Yeah, he
Comic
was
accurate.
comic accurate short.
And it's Hugh Jackman. He jumps off his stool. He's like down here. It's like
Well, he might have been a bit shorter than
yeah,
comic accurate.
I know. I was like thinking there's no way.
He
There's
might
no
have been
way,
like
right?
4 feet. And I think fucking Wolverine's like 5'1" or some shit.
There was a Wolverine that was being crucified where there's millions of bloody skulls, and
On
he was
an
just like,
X.
It was very strange. I was like,
What?
okay.
what comic book was that? That was guaranteed from something. I wish I knew.
We
I
saw
don't know what the
Patch.
fuck that was from.
Eye Patch Wolverine.
Well,
He's like
it's just
James
called
Bond.
Patch.
What's that?
Patch is a
Same
variant
thing.
of Wolverine who's like evil, and he was wearing like the white
really?
suit. He had a patch.
Was he
Yeah,
like
he's known in the
Shield?
comics.
Okay,
Shield
cool.
He's very
Hydra.
known in the comics. It's and also we saw a Wolverine variant that people were theorizing that there'd be Wolverine variants, and they thought Daniel Radcliffe, they thought Taron Egerton, and one that they thought actually was in the movie, and it was fucking Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill Wolverine. He was fucking jacked.
Yeah, like Deadpool walks into his shop and you see the back of this Wolverine, and he's just like, "Damn, you are huge. You are everything that we need or I need right now." And then he turns around and it's Henry Cavill, and like Henry Cavill's jacked. He's a big man. I'm jealous.
And he's like, "You're being treated here way better than the other place."
Yeah.
He dissed DC so fucking hard.
I would be okay if they made a Wolverine movie with Henry Cavill as Logan. I think you would have to like start. I don't even know where you would start with it to make it like feel right.
If they do the action sequences like they did in this movie, I'll watch these Marvel movies.
I don't know, because I think they're gonna go shorter. I think they're gonna go more comic accurate and get a shorter, ripped actor to do Wolverine.
That scene told me why they should never do that.
Well, that was a really short Wolverine.
Yeah.
Like that was like way too short.
Is it comic accurate
Picture that
4 foot?
Wolverine like fighting like fucking crazy and like at the end scenes with Deadpool. Like it was just so much better that it was Hugh Jackman. And,
Yeah, and there was a
there's
lot
certain-
of different variations of Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, and they were all fucking Deadpool up.
There was a variant that wore the brown and yellow suits.
Yes.
I forgot what that one's called.
Very
but he was,
cool.
He was fighting the Hulk, and it's like, that's fucking awesome. I was just like imagining how that fight was going. That's so cool.
Hulk slapped fucking Deadpool and he like splattered against a fucking boulder.
Yeah, that was great. Any other variants of?
I wish we could have saw like 5 seconds of just like Wolverine jumping on Hulk's back and stabbing him, and then Hulk throwing him.
well, 'cause
Just a
I'm like-
little taste.
I wanted like a 2-minute scene of them fighting. Would have been fucking amazing. Just anything there because like we
Maybe,
didn't get to see his face. Is that Edward Norton's or Mark Ruffalo's?
I think
like
that was
Mark.
Ruffalo's. It was the green of Ruffalo, so I think it was like original Hulk.
I think they would have to pay. Well, maybe they got the actor or
We have to
something.
look
but,
it up online just to see what people were saying.
But-
Any other variants of Wolverine? I think that was all of them.
No, that was it. And then we get to the Wolverine that, supposedly the worst Wolverine because he let everybody die. He was the only one left alive, which always makes sense because he's got regenerative abilities. always. So he would technically always live, just like Deadpool.
Honestly,
And-
he has nothing on the Xavier we got in Logan, where he's the worst Xavier. He has a seizure and kills all his fucking X-Men. Come on. That's what's way more tragic than this Wolverine text.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that when it's explained by.
So this Wolverine is big depressed.
Yes.
Big depressed. You know, he doesn't think he can do anything.
Big drinker.
But eventually he goes with Deadpool,
You know
and
what?
he becomes drunk as fuck.
You know what I like about Deadpool and Wolverine? This movie specifically is so fucking Canadian. They're both from Canada. They're both fucking praising Canada. Well, besides that one line about the basket.
Well, yeah, what was that?
I don't. There's a lot.
There
of
was a
jokes that I
special
never
thanks to
understand.
like a cock-sucking woman in Saskatoon or something.
But
A throat slut or
Yeah,
I don't
the
know.
audience
It was something
loved
crazy
it, but I
like
did
that.
not understand it.
Sucking dick queen from Saskatoon. But no, there was a lot of like somebody diss Canada and fucking Deadpool was not having it.
yeah, because he said that. He was just like, you keep my country's name out of your mouth or whatever.
Keep my
Somebody
country
said
in your
like
fucking mouth.
and you're from that
Definitely Will
shithole
Smith.
Canada, and then he stabbed the guy right in the mouth, and he's like, keep my country name out your fucking mouth, and he's like, and my sword, and he took it out.
Yes.
So now Wolverine's drunk as fuck. He's in his suit. He's suited up, and they're in front of Paradox
Yeah.
at the TVA.
Yeah.
Deadpool's like, I got a Wolverine to replace the one that died.
Yes. And he's like, okay, he laughs and he's like, do you really think this Logan can even match the one that we lost in that time? Also, we forgot they paid a lot of reverence to the Logan that died in the Logan movie. They were all like the guy, Paradox was almost tearing up when he's watching it on
When
this
they watched-
monitor. Everybody in the room was sad and just watching it.
Yeah.
Full attention.
He was a
brought
god.
back
It was great.
feelings of like,
Yeah,
it brought-
just fucking-
no, it just watching that scene, I was like, fuck, like, oh man, that's such a good movie, like ending for Logan, like just the way he was like, whatever, he got stabbed and he was like, oh fuck, like, I know what it feels like and all that. He's like dying and like, man, such a
when
good fucking movie.
Paradox
Yeah,
says,
you guys just watched it last night, right?
Yeah,
Oh, we both fell asleep.
yeah.
Oh, you.
I watched it in the theaters when it came out.
Yeah, I've seen it too. Great movie.
Paradox is like, that is the worst Logan you could have brought me.
Yes.
Like, he is not going to be an anchor being.
And he said he's still going to use his device, which nobody remembers the fucking name, to destroy the
This
timeline.
is where I think people, if they wanted to nitpick, I don't really care because it's like Marvel hasn't been good enough where I would care about the intricacies of how the TVA works. Anchor beings, you can't just grab a variant from another place and throw him in the timeline and expect it to work just because his nature is now better. But
Yeah.
like, I don't care. It's
Yeah, that's the thing is that they say it's not going to work.
because like
But
every
Deadpool tried.
in TVA, every single time anything happens to a timeline, whether or not somebody interferes, somebody goes missing, so it becomes a variant timeline and it gets destroyed.
Yeah, why
but
wasn't-
that's just who
What
cares?
happened at the
TVA
end of
bullshit.
Loki season 2? Because there's a line in here where it was around that time where it was mentioned that they don't do that anymore.
Oh yeah, so the TVA used to work by pruning, like how I described it, pruning any variant timeline. So if, it would be like if Wolverine decided to join Magneto, and that's never meant to happen, then that's a variant. They'll pull that Wolverine out, toss him in that trash bin where the Goliath and all that shit, and then they'll destroy the timeline. But in Loki season 2, he's like, we can't keep destroying trillions of lives every time we destroy a timeline, so I'm going to save them all. That's why he weaves it into a cape and he like saves all the timelines. But yeah, so they don't do it anymore.
Okay,
Okay.
so then this guy's like, I'm gonna destroy your timeline. Wolverine's there. He said, Deadpool's like, we got a Wolverine to replace the one that died. So now we should save the timeline. The guy's like, no, that's not how it fucking worked. And then he has like a staff and
Yes.
he sends him to the Void. The Void is like where pretty much it's Fox.
Yeah,
It's
the
fucking
Void
Century
is the
Fox.
trash bin of the universe. This is a place where
Oh,
Like,
that's why they had no Marvel characters there.
Yeah, it was the Void. It was Fox.
It was just like,
because
fuck
like
you, Fox
in Loki,
characters.
when you get hit by that rod that you mentioned, it was thought that you just ceased to exist. But in secret, the TVA knew where it was actually going. Not even, or I say TVA, Kang knew. Kang ran the TVA at the time. The actual members of TVA didn't know shit. Turns out they all go to the trash bin. So I guess it is all Fox characters in that instance, but like everybody should, like you saw Asgard, right? It's supposed to be a trash bin of all Marvel.
Oh, and yeah, so Deadpool finds out he's supposed to be special, and there's something where he's getting held by Thor.
I know, I love that scene. It keeps coming back in the movie.
Deadpool's like, but I'm getting held by Thor.
near
Why?
the end of the movie. Funny.
So then a big fight ensues. Deadpool and Wolverine in the void. Wolverine's like,
Yes.
fuck you.
Yes.
And they beautiful fight. Every fight in this fucking movie has such great choreography.
And,
they said that too. They said that like Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds were like, the fucking choreography and this is fucking
Yeah,
nuts.
we got to
And it
talk
is.
about how Wolverine's portrayed when he does action sequences. It's way different from every other iteration of Wolverine. I say it's way better.
Way better.
He's a menace. Like, he's
First
fucking
fight,
fast.
Yeah, the first fight, he just like he was kind of crawling and he
Which
like
is
slid
scary.
past him, and I was like, fuck
He
yeah.
has actual comic accurate
When
powers.
we learn
Yeah.
what he did and why he's such a tragic character, like he did to the mutants, but also people, that's vicious. Like a Wolverine that's livid, like good shit.
Yeah.
Great fight sequence between them.
Oh my
It's-
god.
I just had a vision, or
Fuck.
only,
Okay.
no, I just
A vision.
This guy had
imagine
an epiphany from this movie and I was
Imagine-
having visions.
it's the year 2000, well 2002 because we all knew each other. 2002, we're watching X-Men 1, maybe 2 at the time, and that was Marvel, or that was whatever it was. Fucking tell us that in 22 years from now, like they were going to be celebrating all of these fucking movies, like everything, and like, man, I just
Yeah, I mean,
insane.
it's like we were talking about how
bitch, it sounded like it was
we
gonna
could
say.
talk about
Yeah.
what this means at the end. They're giving me mixed signals, honestly.
So yeah, big fight, and then we hear a voice, a nice, loud, commanding, booming voice. Stop fighting! He jumps down and he's cloaked up,
Oh, yeah, so we fight each other, we'll always lose.
and then we hear like America. He says like something like that, and everybody's like, oh shit!
It's fucking
he reveals
Cap.
it's fucking Chris Evans. We're like, oh my god, what the fuck? And Deadpool's like, dude, he's like Captain America. He's so fucking pumped, and he's like, say it, Avengers assemble, because now a big convoy is coming.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're all
So it's like there's the fire guy from X-Men. I can't remember his
Pyro.
name. Pyro. There's fucking Toad, Sabretooth, and they're coming to capture these guys
Yeah.
and bring them to Cassandra
They had
Nova.
characters, you know that the Valkyrie, I guess she's called Valkyrie from Thor. She was also a part of this army, and
Yeah,
like,
there was a lot of-
there's
she
a
was
lot of
there?
incredibly. Yeah, I saw her there. No speaking lines, but she was there.
Yeah, there's
As
just-
Oh,
Thompson
I
plays
didn't
her.
see her at all. I don't know if that's
you
true.
see her at Ant-Man's base.
I don't know. And then, so then they're like, Chris Evans is delivering a speech, and then Deadpool's like, say Avengers assemble. And then he's like, flame on! And it's fucking Johnny Storm.
Audience.
It's not Steve Rogers.
Lord.
It's
Yeah.
Johnny Storm, and he's flying up in the air, but somehow Pyro's like stronger than him.
Oh, Pyro can like no, yeah, no. It's actually I watched X-Men 1 and I think it's the same character, but he says that he can't
Yeah.
make flame; he can only control it. So him versus Flame On,
Oh,
dude.
Yeah,
That's
he
pretty
fucked
bad.
up Johnny
he just
Storm.
ate up the flame,
He fucked up Johnny Storm
and the
big
guy
time.
hit his nuts, and he like fuck, and he falls. over. Chris Evans swearing is hilarious.
Yeah.
They play on that later.
Oh, he fell so fucking hard.
I didn't
He
know
lost
that.
all his shit, hit a sign, like fucking folded.
Yeah, like I guess he has superhuman strength in this one because I thought he was just a guy. Well, you can't be a regular human if your body's on fire. So
Yeah, they all have
Yeah.
like extra strength in this.
Yeah.
And then Wolverine fights Sabretooth. We're getting ready, gearing up for a big fight. One shot kill. Wolverine cuts his head off.
Yeah.
I wish
Easy.
there was more dialogue between them. Like he says, Deadpool says he's your brother, and Wolverine says nothing to Sabretooth.
He said he's your brother?
Yeah,
And Deadpool's
I
like,
know.
your brother.
I
You look
thought they were-
ridiculous. And he's taking the swords out of him.
Isn't he not his brother in X-Men
I think
1?
it's not biological.
Isn't it X-Men Origins that they're
Yeah.
brothers?
Yes.
So I thought that they're going to make a joke right away when he said that. Like if Wolverine was like, who?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
something.
they're not brothers. Me and Christian looked this up.
X-Men 1 and 2, their Wolverine's entire purpose is he's lost his memories. He needs to find out what happened. Origins explains that. And yeah, they're brothers not biologically, but just because they're both very similar.
Yeah,
Like,
they
don't
have very
age
similar
slowly.
powers. But okay, Sabretooth shouldn't have died.
I
He has
know.
regenerative abilities.
Yeah, like maybe it's not as good as Wolverine, but he could have put on way more of a fight than
So
that.
maybe he's not dead. Maybe he's going to regenerate after his head's cut off. But then they get captured and they get taken to Cassandra Nova's base, which is a huge dead giant man, which is
Yes.
Ant-Man when he's in his giant form. He makes a joke that Paul Rudd finally aged because he's dead. And then we
Yeah, that's
see the
funny.
crew. So there's like, can't remember what the red guy is. He looks like a devil, kind of has
that
powers.
guy was so cool. He's from Last Stand, I think, right?
He kind of has powers like Nightcrawler.
Yeah, he's
is
like
he?
evil Nightcrawler. He was working with like Stryker or something.
And then we see Cassandra Nova, and she is OP.
Oh yeah.
She's a great character. Like that's a really good villain. Also, I don't know why it's like it's implied that she's encountered other Xaviers because she has the chair of Charles Xavier, and I guess she's killed him.
Yeah.
But like Wolverine talks to her later, and somehow she gets convinced that Charles would care. But it's like you encountered Charles in the past here. I don't know.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that's my like my issues with the movie are really just related to like I can't even pinpoint it, but that's one point there was like Cassandra Nova's overall goal is that like it's just the fact that it's like there's not a lot there.
like there's never been anything to Deadpool. This is a Deadpool movie. Like the story's not going to be intricate.
No, that's like the story
it's
isn't
fine,
gripping.
I think.
But there's just so much good shit in this movie that makes it over the top. So then they have a dispute with Sandra Nova.
Yeah.
They want to go home. She has the power to send them home. She's like, fuck you. Deadpool goes off.
This is where we get a hilarious scene where he's like, listen, I have no beef with you, but Johnny over here, Johnny said some crazy things.
Yeah, he's like
he goes off for like a minute or two.
He's like, you said you're a cunt, bitch. He said like you're a dumb. Your powers are stupid. And Johnny's like, I didn't say none of that.
He wants, yeah.
And then she kills Johnny Storm so hard.
By ripping his skin off instantly.
So fucking hard. And we got Juggernaut here.
Yes, Juggernaut. Okay, so in the scene, we got Juggernaut. We've got Red Dude that teleports from Last Stand. There's Toad. We have Valkyrie. We got, shit. What was it? What was in the scene? There's a lot of people in this scene.
Yeah, I can't remember them all either.
That was the last death scene out of all of them that I felt disappointed with. Just because I was like, fuck, I love Chris Evans a part of this. This made it feel like a real Marvel movie.
I was hoping.
Yeah, but they made a joke where it's like,
we all know what he was doing to the budget.
Yeah, like, that was for the budget.
That's what lessened the blow because I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that was hilarious. We're like, yeah, we get it. You can't pay Chris Evans that much for this movie.
Oh yeah,
was that?
I was hoping you'd join the team.
Oh yeah, but he was around for a good amount of time.
Wait, like I thought Chris Evans was done with the MCU. He had a lot of scenes in this, honestly.
Which is fucking hilarious that he came back to do another role that's not. I love that he wasn't Steve Rogers.
Yes. I didn't think they would do that just because that would undermine the next Captain America movie where they're really trying to make him Steve Rogers.
When we saw old Steve Rogers, did anybody else think he looked like Joe Biden?
Yeah.
I was gonna make a joke about that.
So I think that we'll talk about this later on, but based off of what happened
He's
later,
so hooked on the end, man.
Does that count for Steve Rogers or Johnny Sins?
Johnny Sins! Oh my God, the porn star Johnny Sins!
Storm.
He's been thinking about him. He's been thinking about him.
Johnny Sins!
Does that count for Johnny Storms?
Everybody look up Johnny Sins!
Does that count for Johnny Storms?
What do you mean?
Because okay, well we'll get there when we actually get there.
We should have saw Jessica Alba. Holy fuck!
There was a scene where Cassandra Nova, like Wolverine comes at him. Or at her, and she just goes like this, and then Wolverine's like in the ground, like telepathically. Then she like shoos him away. She's extremely powerful, way powerful than Charles Xavier, I think.
Yes, and then Deadpool distracts her. Wolverine gets out of the ground, stabs her.
Yeah.
And she
can heal, I guess, as long as she uses her mind.
Yeah, she just brushes it off, and then she chucks him like really far away. No, there's a bit. What I don't know what the big fucking storm is.
Okay, so that's season 1 and 2 of Loki. Think of it as he's the cookie monster that comes and eats up all the garbage.
Okay.
After like everybody that entire thing that you saw was the void,
indoors?
And it was the garbage. I don't know why. I guess she's using her powers to protect herself from Goliath. That thing should be able to kill everything.
That was Goliath.
Goliath or whatever. But that's basically that story. With that thing.
So that thing, and then they jumped on some fucking like rocket shit.
Yeah, Wolverine's like hitting this like leg. I'm sure that's an Easter egg to something.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I wonder if that whatever they used was an actual reference to like Fantastic Four or something.
And they flew away super far.
This is where we get introduced to
sexy Deadpool,
Nice Pool,
and
nice Dog Pool,
and Dog Pool. Which
Nice Pool can never get mad ever.
I know.
He's like
that's like
beautiful.
Oh guy. No, he was. I thought people were calling him Samurai Deadpool.
Yeah.
And also, there were leaks that said that he gave Deadpool his Glocks, his guns. He did not give those guns.
No, we'll get to that.
But yeah.
So, and also, okay, so we'll set the scene. They land on each other. A Deadpool's on top, a little bit of sexiness. Wolverine pushes him off. Deadpool's like, oh, fuck. Oh, yeah, he said like, I'm almost done.
Yeah.
He's like, what? And he's like, my knife. What? I'm trying to get it out.
Getting my knife out of your ass or something.
And then Nice Pool shows up with the dog, and holy fuck, Ryan Reynolds let that dog lick inside of his mouth for a long time.
I
was getting disgusted.
He was like looking back at the
And also
Deadpool.
that Dog Pool is famous because it won the award for ugliest dog in the world.
That dog.
Holy Brendan. Oh, fuck.
That dog was at the premiere, I believe, last night, and I think a lot of fans
Ginger
just got
beer.
to like hold the
It's
dog.
not alcoholic.
Not.
It has a little bit of a rip.
Don't describe it as a rip. What is that?
It does. It's spicy.
Bro,
was
Me and
that?
Brandon drank one. Was it cold?
It's cold enough.
Yeah. There's some harder ones than that I wanted to try.
Okay, so this was, I
After-
think, product placement, right? This car,
there had to have
yeah,
been
there
some
was a
sort
bit of product placement because I went. Okay,
which is fine because season 2 of Loki straight up had female Loki working in a McDonald's, and there's a lot of scenes with a McDonald's. So whatever.
yeah.
I will say, which is funny because we didn't talk about it, but we see a little bit of Deadpool when he's in a normal life. He's like wearing a wig and he's a car salesman and he's sitting in the back seat with 2 kids and the parents, and he's like, "It's a fucking good car."
I know they didn't even like. I feel like they planned the scene. They're like, "Fuck it, this scene's dumb."
Which
So-
this movie, I can't take my son to this movie. Like, I think that a lot of stuff would go over his head, but there is some more suggestive shit in this movie where I'm like, it's a bit too much. Maybe
Yeah,
he's like
so-
10.
He sticks the pole in the guy, and he's like releasing the pole
Yeah,
slowly. But
no,
anyway,
he sticks it in, but he takes his hand. No, he goes back down. That's what it is.
I'm doing.
yeah.
Can't see it on the camera.
So yeah, it's when he's in a job. He works with Peter at a car,
Yes.
a used car place or whatever, a car dealership.
Yeah.
So then, but we're getting it. He meets Nice Pool. They go. What happens after
So
that?
Nice Pool is just Ryan Reynolds with long hair,
Mm-hmm.
and he can't be angry. He's the happiest Deadpool ever. He's like Ned Flanders.
Oh yeah. So then they need to get back. So and find more people. So what happens is Nice
yes.
Pool loans them his Honda,
Also-
his Honda Odyssey.
yeah,
And Deadpool's pissed off about the Honda Odyssey. He calls it like a piece of shit.
yeah.
He's like doesn't want to drive in it.
It's gonna be a good car later, but we also get a hint at the Deadpool core.
It's
Lots of corpses in there.
CORPS, but
Actually,
it's
it's
Deadpool
right here.
Corp.
It's corpse. But yes, I love that fucking scene later, but we'll get into that.
So now we have
love
an
some later
emotional
person.
scene.
Yes.
They drive in the car and they stop and pretty much they eviscerate each other.
Yeah, because like they're talking about, do you want to mention, or do you want to talk to me about what happened to your fucking world? And eventually, Deadpool's like, listen, what are you gonna do if we get to actually save your timeline? And Wolverine kind of looks at him like, what the hell do you mean if?
Yeah.
And then that's when he's like pulls out his claws and you fucking lying to me.
Oh yeah, he says something with wish.
Yeah, he's like, he said, I wished it to be true. Or it was like, they mentioned it later. I can't remember
Yeah,
what it was.
because
It was kind
he
of,
promised before that he could fix Wolverine's timeline.
Yes, and the
bring
tragedy.
everybody back. But then he was like, yeah, I wish it to be true. And then he's like, wish.
I wish-
You told me it was real. And then he goes off and he
Oh,
tells
yeah,
like Deadpool,
Wolverine-
like everybody's going to die. He's a piece of shit. His
Wolverine
girlfriend hates him.
destroys Deadpool
He
verbally.
doesn't matter. And that was a big theme in this movie. Deadpool was like, I don't matter. Nothing like I'm a piece of shit. I don't matter. And
It
Wolverine
hurt
tells him,
Deadpool. He was quiet. He was like, this is where I'm going to kick your ass.
and then he's like, you're a piece of shit. Your girlfriend hates you. You don't matter. And then he's like, what do you have to say? And then Deadpool, I'm going to kick your ass.
And then the best fight scene in the whole movie happens.
It goes to a song. It's fucking perfect.
Well, they played
They
The
keep
Greatest
changing
Showman
songs
for a
as they hit the
second.
head.
You heard the beginning of The Greatest Showman for a second, and they hit it right away. And I was like, fuck.
They have this epic fight in this Honda Odyssey.
I thought that was
Blood
like,
everywhere.
because I like
So
like there's
good.
3 main fights, right? There's the later fight, which is like fucking crazy.
Oh, he's
out.
later.
No, but like then there was the beginning fight, which was more of just very generic fight.
What do you mean? It was amazing.
Well, it's just a standard fight though. It's like outside, and it's like.
Well, I don't know.
I
what
loved
that
all
means.
those. Like,
But
yeah, it was honestly the best MCU fight I've seen in 5 years.
But the second fight was in
Even
a
that.
car, and it was like literally like they would go out of the car for a bit, but it was like 95% of that fight was in the car, and them just like throwing each other on the fucking car, grabbing seatbelts, choking them and shit. And it was
Flying,
like,
he
He
got
cracks
fucking
Deadpool's arm.
slammed
He
out
drags
of
him
the-
back in.
Yeah.
and they were like so close, like stabbing. Fucking, it was like the gore was just
I
like.
love that they can both heal and
I
they're just
know.
like brutalizing
I know
each
the
other.
funny thing is that it's irrelevant to fight.
I love that scene where Wolverine like falls on top of Deadpool and he like Deadpool brings out his guns and shoots him in the sides like like so
Did
brutal.
you catch that though? When
like,
they were
fuck.
fighting in the car, it went to night to morning again.
Yeah,
yeah.
they
Fighting
fought
all
forever.
fucking night.
Also, Wolverine sustained more damage in that fight, I think, than he did in the nuke
Yeah.
in Origins.
So they just fucking they fight for a
bounces
long
back.
fucking time and then they're exhausted. And then they just drive, right? And they get to
There's a top-down scene of Deadpool wrapped up in car seats or seatbelts.
oh yes,
and
that's what
Wolverine's
happens.
knocked out, and then the car starts taking off, and it's like,
You're
who's
like,
driving?
Well, somebody gets in the
You're like,
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So who's
doing
driving?
that?
Yeah. So then
Where are they going?
They get to a place and they wake up and Wolverine's drinking.
He's like, I fucking love this place. Oh, also, he was. We missed the scene in the dining room dining.
Oh yeah, it
where
wasn't
he's,
that crazy.
He was looking. He was like drinking. He's an alcoholic basically, and that's kind of a running theme.
Is
in this
drinking
movie.
rubbing alcohol or something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was anything that could. He loved that rubbing alcohol.
There was a scene when they were before they were in the car where they were in a diner.
Deadpool before this was really trying to reach out to this Logan and try to figure out his backstory. He's like, or should we wait for the third act flashback? And that's kind of what we did.
Yeah.
But yeah, they end up at this strange place. Wolverine's having a great time. Deadpool's like, where the hell am I?
And now we
Get the first reveal.
Okay,
Jaw dropping.
people will call them cameos. I say they're characters. They had a big
Spicy.
part.
These characters specifically were not cameos.
No. So at first we get the first reveal, which is Elektra. Boom.
I love how
Elektra,
they crack
Jennifer
a joke
Garner.
like, yeah, we all remember her. Because
Jennifer Garner, who was in probably one of the worst Marvel movies, and she was in was she in Daredevil? Yeah, she was in Daredevil.
I love how I guess they know. I mean, they kind of play on that how nobody likes Ben Affleck's Daredevil because like they mention or she mentions that all these people are dead. Magneto's dead. Daredevil's dead. And he's like, I'm sorry, and then she's like, yeah, it's okay.
I thought it was
brushes it off.
more because they broke up.
Oh, it was.
Did they break up? I don't remember
In real life.
Yes,
Oh,
Jennifer Garner and Ben Affleck were dating.
There's a lot
For
of
a long
meta
time. They have a
jokes,
daughter.
for
It was so funny when they're like Magneto's dead and Deadpool was like Magneto's dead. What the fuck, Magneto?
Yeah.
They needed his helmet and it was destroyed.
Yeah,
So-
I can't remember all of it, but there's a lot of people that were mentioned to be dead, and he was like, "Shit." Then he's like,
We
okay.
need to tell the other
Yeah.
people that came into the room. So after Elektra, we got Blade, which is fucking amazing because I never thought that would happen because
I never thought Blade would come
on
back before.
Blade Trinity,
Ever.
where Ryan Reynolds was a star alongside Wesley Snipes, Jessica Biel, and it was him. And on that set, it was hell. Wesley Snipes was a big fucking baby. He wasn't being a nice guy on set. He was being very difficult. There was like a scene where he was on a table and he was supposed to open his eyes, but he refused to open them, so they had to fucking CGI these fucking shitty eyes open. And Ryan Reynolds fucking hated him, and they got into big fights.
I'm glad they worked it out enough to have him in because I like that Blade movie.
Yeah.
I grew up with
He
it.
was
That's
amazing,
my
Blade.
Fuck. Oh yeah, no, they made the joke later on where he was like, he's the only Blade.
So-
and then Deadpool also kind of looked at the camera and was just like, I love that
See,
part.
I interpreted that as Marvel throwing it out there that hey, you can have this Blade if you want.
Yeah, I think
instead of Wesley or instead of Mahershala Ali and taking 6 years. Not that it's his fault exactly, but there are rumors behind the scenes that if it's true that he was being a little
it seems
difficult.
like it's all falling apart because I heard that like they changed like
Also-
a lot of shit. People are dropping out like crazy. And, like
it's not this scene. Later on, it happens where he talks about the multiverse.
Yeah.
But okay, so there's another guy that enters the
One
room.
more guy who fucking stole the show.
Oh yeah.
Amazing. Okay, we've been waiting for we got a Gambit in X-Men Origins.
I know.
And he was good. He was good as Gambit. But
It was a tease. We didn't get enough.
Okay, Channing Tatum shows up, Gambit with the accent, and also
He has a great accent, by the way, for the character. I know they make fun of it, but like that's good. That's Gambit.
the costume, amazing.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
yeah,
At first, I was like, the face seems a little off, but then they went to like
I
a
got
shot.
used to it. Like,
It's a little chubby's face, but
Well, no, there's a
That's like
shot like
Gandalf.
after a bit where it goes right up to his face, and you're like, "Oh no, it fucking worked perfect." It's
Oh
just
my
kind of
God.
from
It
far
was
away.
amazing.
Like, it
The
looks,
hair, the fucking thing on its face, like
his
the
action sequence. That's a great Gambit fighting
because
sequence.
like
So
for
good.
anyone watching Empty Minds, like Gambit for me growing up, I mean, you guys
I know,
all know
you
it's
loved
like,
him.
He's like my favorite X-Men. He was like one of my favorite Marvel characters in general, and I was always so pissed that he was never in the movies. And I was like, why not? And then when all the Channing Tatum stuff kind of came out, and I was like, I don't know how I feel about him, and I just hated it. When I heard that it got canceled, I was like, fuck yeah. And then all of a sudden,
fuck no.
I wasn't even fucking expecting that to happen in the movie. Then he walks in and I was like, oh fuck.
I know. I looked at him right away because I knew when he was young, it was all about Gambit. He loved Gambit.
Gambit.
Big Gambit guy. And I saw his face and I was like, fuck, this is awesome.
Yeah.
He fucking crushed it.
Like
Yeah, look at
my
Forrest.
mind was blown consistently in this scene
Mm-hmm.
from Wesley Snipes showing up as Blade, which is amazing. He's such a great Blade.
Oh, great.
And then Gambit showing up, like a fantasy that everybody has had. Like when we heard behind, like there was gonna be a Gambit movie before this fell under. So cool seeing them.
So fucking cool. So then they
There's
get a
Magneto
plan.
references.
They need to fight. They want to
Yeah.
get Deadpool and Wolverine to save his universe.
Good joke there, because like everybody's like,
One more person shows up. We forgot. Yeah, so X-23 shows up and she's like, Wolverine's like, I'm not the guy. I'm not the guy that you know. I'm bad. And then she's like, the other guy. Oh, and he said something like, I'm dumb or something.
the Logans were never the best, he says, and that kind of like speaks to him.
Yeah, he's
Or
like, I'm
maybe,
not the best. And then she's like, that's what he said, or like,
That's what he said.
that's what she said.
she said.
Just disses him.
But yeah, Deadpool in the dining
Do you
scene
remember
also.
what he said exactly?
Yeah, he's like, listen, I'm not that Logan. Like I'm a failure. I'm a failure in all of mine. Or she's talking about how great Logan was, and he's like, that's not me. He's like something like that.
Yeah, and then she said like, oh, that's exactly what he said, or some shit.
But
Yeah,
she says like, you were never the right guy.
Yeah, that's exactly. what she
That's
says.
it. He said,
Never
I'm not the right guy. And he said, yeah, that's what she said. So then
Yeah.
they leave, they get pumped up. And
So
now
I will say, but as they were going, this was the part in the movie for me where it was like an 8 out of 10.
wait, where are
Is
they
that
going?
lowering
They're
or
going
raising?
back to
Okay, so they're going to fight.
Yeah.
So that's Elektra, Gambit, Blade, Wolverine, Deadpool,
Also,
and X-23.
They mention all the other people that went to fight Cassandra. It involved like the Punisher and like
Yeah.
several
Yeah, Punisher
Avengers.
died.
Magneto went over there. I think Xavier was involved because Cassandra has his
That
chair,
must have
right?
been Thomas Jane's Punisher, because they asked him which one. He said something about like the only one that I don't know what he said.
There was
Yeah, it was
so
one
like
of...
just like that, like even that, like you know how we complain in No Way Home that Tobey Maguire's universe never had any other adventures for him.
Yeah.
There's no Avengers. There was like nothing. This is like mentioning stuff that you can just imagine.
Yeah.
And how
Yeah,
it
what
was
was the
played
guy's
out.
name? It's Ray something.
I thought it was Thomas Jane.
No, because there was Punisher Warzone, and that guy actually died.
Because they
Because
mentioned
he was he was the guy who died in Star Wars. Bale?
oh really? Yeah. Bale.
Darth Balin?
Yes, it was Darth
Yeah,
Balin.
he was Punisher in Punisher
Really?
Warzone, and he actually died. So I was wondering, like,
Because like while they're driving to fight Cassandra, they pull out Punisher's weapon, like a bazooka, and Blade
Blade
is
shoots
wielding
it.
it. Yeah, they mentioned what kind
Wielding.
of Punisher it was, but yeah, that's how they
Yes.
begin the fight.
so what you were saying,
No,
8 out of 10?
Bust open the door.
So for me, it was an 8 out of 10. Just even throughout that whole sequence there, even though it was fucking amazing, it was going up at that point. It was going up.
It's an 8 out of 10, even though it's amazing.
No, but it's because I was like, okay, the story was literally they got sent away, they went here, got in a car, got back to this place, and then they're like, yeah, let's go fight, and they're going back. And I was like, I don't know about this. Like I was like, because it kind of felt like it was like we're at the last of the story, and that's where
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is 8 out of 10. Like I'm having a really fun fucking time, but I'm like, that's such a.
My head.
That's a great Deadpool head.
Mine fell asleep.
But then as soon as the fight happened and everyone shows up there and just that fucking money shot there of all of them standing together, I was like, okay, this is more of a
Yes.
9 out of 10 now.
Yeah,
Like, this
you
is
wanna
like,
watch him.
fuck.
So
I
now they're
love this
fighting
pairing.
Juggernaut, Toad,
They're
fucking
fighting-
Red guy, Red Devil guy.
They're all there,
Pyro.
and there's
Oh.
a bloodbath.
But we get something where Paradox hired Pyro to kill Cassandra.
Yeah.
Yes, they had like this. I don't know how long this has been going on because Loki was in the Void and he never encountered Cassandra Nova. But I guess it's a big place, so I'm willing to let that pass.
So
I think they should have added a bit more there with why the TVA and like the relationship between the TVA and Cassandra Nova. Cassandra Nova. It was such a like, I know why they kept her there and there's all those
See,
reasons.
this is a
but it
TVA
was
that
like,
normally wouldn't tolerate her. They would have like wiped her out. But because Loki's now good guy Loki, I think they just left her alone.
just weird because why didn't they get rid of her before?
well, they left her in the void because she was getting rid of people.
Yeah, I guess I can't skip ahead.
Because
but
they
yes.
said that she was getting rid of people. She stayed there. She didn't care. She didn't want
yeah,
to leave.
like she served the
She kind of
purpose
served
of
the
Elias.
purpose of
Okay.
what she was kind of like fucking. She was the devil of the void, pretty much.
Yeah.
The void is hell, and she was the devil.
Which is funny because like you know where that place where Elias comes from. In that smoke is a castle, and that's where Kang was and see Loki. But he got murdered and shit. But
So
yeah,
big fight ensues. Deadpool and Wolverine are at Cassandra. She's kind of fucking them up. She gets into. I laugh because it was kind of like Freddy versus Jason, where fucking Freddy stabs his claw
yeah.
into Jason's head. She stabs her finger into fucking Wolverine's head, and
there's we forgot about where they're like, wait, you knew Johnny Storm? How'd you know him? And Deadpool's like, he was
Oh,
a
wait,
fucking hero.
give context. You don't know
This
what
was
they're
back in
talking
the
about.
cave.
Yeah, it was back in the cave. It was with Electra
and it was
Blade.
Electra was questioning, Electra and Blade were questioning Deadpool about, because Deadpool inadvertently and accidentally mentions Johnny, and
They
he's
were
like, he was a
"Oh,
hero.
Johnny was our best friend.
He
He's
would have
a hero."
wanted us to go back and fight.
And then he's like, "Oh yeah, Johnny was a good guy." And they're like, "Was? What are
it's
you
funny
talking
'cause
about?"
He was kind of telling the truth. That would come by later.
And then he's like, "Oh, he died." And they're like, "What? How did he die?" He's like, "Well, I tried to save him."
Yeah,
He was an amazing guy. Deadpool just
Wolverine in the
fucking lied.
background the whole time.
Yeah, he's like, "What the
Laughing,
fuck are you talking about? You killed him." And he's like, "No, he's amazing."
Was this the? Yeah, I know. At some point, Sam or a good nice guy Deadpool walks in. Wolverine's just like, "The fuck is happening?" Oh wait, no, that's later. That's not Wolverine. That's Paradox. Oh, anyways, yeah.
So
there's
then-
a bloody bath. Bloody bath. A bloodbath. And it's so cool. It's so good. The action, amazing. Whoever get this guy, Marvel, get him again for like another Marvel movie.
Those choreographed fights were fucking amazing.
They're intense.
There's one more coming up that's the best one
Fucking
in the
fast.
fucking movie. The best one in the movie. So
Gambit's throwing his cards everywhere. He sticks his ball into somebody.
yeah,
and he,
Gambit's
he
fighting
lights
was
up-
fucking awesome.
Well, it was
brutal.
after that
Murder.
when he like does that. He turns around and his eyes are pink, and I was just like,
Yeah, and he's
Oh,
throwing
yeah.
cards. He's using staff. X-23 is
me.
going feral with her claws. Electra's being Electra. She's not that cool.
She does the saw thing or the hostile thing to Juggernaut where
Blade
he cuts
is
his
going
leg.
Well,
wild
that's exactly what I
with
thought
his-
of too. Was hostile with the fucking ankles
Oh yeah,
cut, and he
I
fell
forgot
over.
to
I was
mention
like,
the entire reason their plan is to get Juggernaut's helmet.
and put it on Cassandra Nova.
Yeah.
Which
Juggernaut wears that to protect himself from Xavier, but it's going to work with Cassandra.
X-23 fights Juggernaut, cuts both his feet off, falls, gets his helmet. She's running. She gets hit, but she throws the backpack with the helmet. Now,
Yes.
Cassandra Nova is in Wolverine's head, and she's trying to like
This is where we
manipulate him to get him on her side.
I think this is, I don't know when Wolverine explains exactly what happened, but this is where we get to learn his backstory, basically. We can talk about it here.
Yes.
So Cyclops and the other X-Men have always wanted Wolverine to be part of their team in this timeline, and they wanted him to wear the outfit, which they all had yellow outfits. And Wolverine always said no, they look fucking ridiculous. And then he kind of like somberly says, actually he says this at the campfire, but he says, I didn't want them to know that I really wanted to be on I was like kind of a stubborn asshole. And basically there was an attack by humans at the Xavier mansion, I guess, and they pleaded for Wolverine's help, but this version of Wolverine was getting drunk at a bar and he said no. And later on,
They
when he
all
returned
died.
to the mansion, he discovered the bodies of the X-Men. And this is where he goes feral. And he murders any mutant attackers, but also the people. And I think it was implied even kids. Like he went insane.
Yeah.
And he was well known in the timeline. That's why in the beginning of the movie, he says everybody knows who he is.
I want to know how the fuck humans killed mutants, like all the mutants. Like there must have been something. I'm
I don't
sure.
know, was it all or just
Maybe they
like
had
the main
Sentinels.
X-Men?
Well, because X-Men 97 kind of, I think, teased at how that could happen. Just with like how, oh no, they weren't doing that. I don't know. Maybe it was just literally like getting rid of their powers.
Yeah,
or something.
I don't know.
it
Shooting
wasn't
them with stuff.
explained.
Was it said all the mutants or was it just
It was
the main
it-
ones in the mansion?
Yeah, it was like everybody.
Really?
I feel like it was just, it had to have been everybody
I
because
think all the mutants died.
it gave mutants a bad name and it gave Wolverine a bad
Oh,
name.
yes. It was actually, yeah. Wolverine, because of the massacre, and he was like feral Wolverine, like you showed me in one of the podcasts, basically caused the apocalypse for mutants. He gave all the humans a reason to hate mutants.
Which is
and
like,
that ended billions of lives.
that's like a crazy, like, I
Well,
want to see
mutant
that
genocide.
movie, a fucking evil
because not
Wolverine.
all mutants are like powerful. Some of them are like, I can control water, and then they'll fucking die. But
Yeah.
yes, Cassandra is trying to manipulate.
Yeah, and then
Manipulate
she's
Wolverine
like,
here.
"You should like be on my side," and he's like, "You know what? No."
I can make the pain go
and then
away.
helmet goes on. She's
Yeah.
like, now she has nothing, and fucking, she's like, oh, you see like veins on her
And
face.
she's just cackling, like she doesn't give a shit. Like,
Was she? I thought she was like struggling.
yeah, no, yeah, she was
At
laughing,
first.
saying, "You guys need to take this helmet off if you want me to
Yeah,
help you leave."
and then she said pretty much,
which is a
kill
lie,
me.
by the way. But anyways,
He was like, kill me or take the helmet off and I'll kill you. There's like no getting out. They're like, why don't we take the helmet off and you send us back?
Yeah.
And then what happened is Pyro shows up and shoots her in the gut.
Yeah.
And then they stop Pyro. And then Wolverine's like, for some reason, I have no idea why he lets her live because
Yeah,
he kills fucking
he's trying
everybody
to
else.
be good Wolverine.
I know,
where
but he
he's-
kills everybody else.
He's like, Xavier would have wanted you to live because you're, I guess, maybe blood relations.
Yeah, he has a big Xavier speech.
And he's
she-
like, just take it off. I'm trying to be good. Yeah. This is what Xavier would have wanted. Take it off.
Take it off.
Take off the helmet.
Pretty much she takes off the helmet. She's like, you saved my life. She sends him back to the timeline. But then she goes back because now she questions Pyro and she learns Paradox wanted her dead. So she wants to escape the void because she's pissed.
So she mentioned something here. Oh, like she has a sling ring from I think it's actually Doctor Strange.
Well,
she mentions that she skinned this guy and wore his skin for a couple weeks.
Yeah,
that's a little fucked up. This Cassandra Nova, real fucking evil.
Really
my God,
fucked up character.
So
yes,
she questions, and then she goes to see Paradox, and she fucking learns that he has this machine, and now she wants to destroy all the timelines and just have the void.
Yeah, so she can play God, basically.
Yeah, so she wants to just have the void left. Everybody else dies. So for some reason, the portal stays open, and she chucks Deadpool and Wolverine into a faraway store, and she goes and she starts grabbing the fucking machine to power it up. Now, Deadpool core shows up, which is like 80 fucking different Deadpools. And this is when the best fight happens.
I love the Deadpool core. They're like, they're not the brightest, but they are fucking resilient.
No, but we don't learn who Lady Deadpool was.
Oh yeah, you know what?
Like
it was.
It?
There was like behind the scenes, like her kissing someone. I think it was like
she wore a red dress and all that to the red carpet, and Ryan Reynolds was like, "Oh, spoiler alert!"
Yeah, but
we'll never know
Lady Deadpool shows up, and then a bunch of other Deadpool. There's like Samurai Deadpool,
Little
Deadpool
kids,
from every single iteration.
Kidpool.
We got ourselves Headpool as well from the zombie universe.
We got fucking Cowboy Deadpool. He was cool as fuck.
I think who was Canadian Deadpool?
All of them.
Oh, yeah, I guess technically, yeah, they're all Canadian Deadpools. They're all from Canada.
And then there was Nice Deadpool, who Deadpool used as a human shield.
Yes.
And he had no regeneration abilities.
It's like he died a hero, and it's like, no, he died from murder.
Which is really funny because Deadpool could have taken those shots. He never needed a human shield.
He was like
Then
smiling.
he stops and he's like, I have to catch my breath.
And he's like, you're gonna. The funniest thing
your
was
legs not fucking work. Come on.
they start shooting him, and he's walking with him, and he just stops in the middle, and they're still shooting. He's like, "You're gonna live. Say you're gonna live," and then his head fucking explodes.
They say you're gonna live. He's like, I'm gonna live. And
then Wolverine walks out, and he's got Deadpool. Nobody shoots Deadpool. He's got a Dogpool. Nobody shoots him because he's got the little dog. And then Wolverine and Deadpool fight the Deadpool core in the best fight scene in the fucking
of the whole
movie.
movie. Best scene.
Wolverine masks up.
Oh yeah,
masks.
he puts the mask
fuck
on.
up.
I forgot. Like at this point, I was like, "This movie's fucking awesome," and I forgot about that last fucking thing. I was like, "That had to have been a thing." They didn't tease it at all, but I was like, "That has to be a thing." And then they fucking like pull the mask on, and I was like,
It looks great. They do
Amazing.
the animated eye thing or whatever.
Yeah,
So
and then
good.
Wolverine was doing things where he was like running on all fours. He was the fucking. You guys gotta
He's
go see it.
vicious.
That fight scene is fucking amazing.
There's a
Fighting like an
certain
actual
pose
animal.
he does where it's Wolverine's pose, where his elbows are like really fucking high. Like, oh my god! And
I want to watch it again right now.
I love the fact that was Hugh Jackman. Like we got to see that character be that Wolverine.
I honestly thought they were gonna do the joke where Wolverine's stabbing this Deadpool, and he's like, "Wait, it's me." I was waiting for that, but
there was only one case in one of the Wolverine movies where you saw the mask, and it was in the movie The Wolverine. It was at the very end, and he opens a case, and the mask is
like,
there. But amazing fight scene, and then what happens is after it, nobody dies because it's all fucking redundant. They all have regenerative abilities. Nobody can fucking die. And then Peter shows up.
Peter Poole
with his fucking big penis.
That was.
No, I know. I noticed that. I was like, but no, actually, it was two balls.
Well, he was just packaged.
Wait, I'm confused.
Okay, well,
he tried to join the Avengers. This timeline he's in right now is his own, right? Which is not the Marvel MCU. So when he was trying to join the Avengers, that was his own version of the Avengers from the X-Men the timeline.
Okay,
right?
Yeah, I'm confused on some of the.
Because wait, he's joining the MCU, but
no, when he was talking to Happy Hogan, he was at Earth 616.
How will he ever join the MCU without taking his friends with? This is like the problem with Morbius and the old guy character.
Well, he went to Earth 616 to do the Avengers shit. Remember?
That was around the time because I think
that's the normal.
Okay, wait.
Universe.
So he teleported.
Yeah,
I'm confused because if he got what he wanted, which is joining the Avengers, he has to leave his family.
Yeah, well, this was a lot. Like that was, I think, more of a flashback to like.
I think he was going to take him
because like remember that was the whole thing with him and his girlfriend. It was like you don't have much of a purpose at all or whatever. I want you to stand for something. And he just cared about himself really. I think that was a flashback to like before.
I guess timelines, it's confusing. Who cares? I guess in the end.
Yeah.
But yes, all the Deadpools because they're not the brightest bunch. They love Peter. Everybody's every timeline has a great Peter when they're all
Every
gather around
timeline
him.
has a Peter,
it's
and they
like-
all just
I think that's how that situation's resolved. It's just like they're distracted. Let's go.
they all just had a party with Peter
Also,
because they love him so much.
I guess I thought that Paradox's machine was in the TVA in a secret headquarter, but no, it's in a subway. He just walk downstairs. And it's right there. So, okay.
So then they go down and then they leave this is where the end of the movie happens.
Wait, I was gonna say before that, what'd you think of Wolverine's mask in general? Like, just
It was
obviously
fucking
badass.
amazing. 10 out of 10.
Is there like
awesome.
any issues you can pick with it?
No.
With like the way
See,
it
I'm
looked?
glad they didn't do it before, just because they would never have gotten the eyes, the white eyes.
Yeah,
I
they
don't think
wouldn't have
would
done that.
it. They would have gotten a worse
Because
version.
only Deadpool did the white eyes, so I'm really happy they did
it's
it.
the black part around the face here. Because at first it looked a bit
They said like you're like a bad man that can actually neck.
well, because at
blue
first it looked a little off, and I was like, it was the same thing with Gambit. I was just trying to see what his
Well,
face
it's
looked
because
like.
his head looked a little small, but it's like it's certain angles, and then I think it's still like it's amazing.
But there's a
So
close up
good.
of his face, and you see the black like kind of more on his face. And I'm like, yeah, it's literally Batman mask. But I mean, like to me, I think it's the. I don't know if they're gonna top this Wolverine's look.
It's
ever.
fucking it's,
They either
it's fucking.
if they get Hugh Jackman again for more movies,
He's coming
great.
back till 90. Remember?
Yeah, they keep saying that's where I'm getting like mixed signals, because at the same time the credits for this, which maybe we could talk about, I guess I can just say they don't really. It's more of a send off, and it's not exactly next time. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
well-
that's why I'm saying, well, what's going on here?
Well, okay, so then they
Yes.
go
That's
into
what
the thing
Paradox
and they
is like. Who
realize
the
that
fuck
there's
were
like
you?
a machine that they have to like hold on to and they can beat Cassandra Nova.
We forgot about the scene that you mentioned where Cassandra Nova has her fingers in. She keeps using her fingers that's how she reads minds. It's like right inside Paradox's head, and she's dragging him around.
Yeah, she
I know.
learns his plan of the machine, and she's like, what happens is her fingers are through his head like this, and she's dragging him, and she learns of the machine, and she's gonna grab it to
it's
power it up. So she's holding on to this machine and gaining power.
It's like pushing his eyeball around,
and
stuff.
she's destroying the timeline, and you see like this progress bar. Now Deadpool and Wolverine know that one person is gonna die if they do this.
I was worried they were going to kill Wolverine off, and it would be a one-off kind of situation.
I was
So
worried they're
like-
killing both of them off.
Yeah, but
'cause,
then they
like,
switched.
I know. Then I was like, wait, Deadpool, don't go.
So so then it was a thing where they had to grab one side and another and hold it.
The entire-
kind of like Loki.
Like Deadpool was trying to do it on his own. He was trying to like rip the cables out and reach for the other part,
also had
but
no
he
shirt
was
on.
like nowhere
And he
near it.
locked Wolverine out of the room.
Meanwhile, the door is like it's like busting open.
He had no shirt on.
Wolverine's
Wolverine's
like
He had no
busting
fucking.
us.
shirt on. He had no shirt on. He looks.
Well,
Yeah,
his
well, not
shirt-
yet. We're hold on.
That's a
Tell it
reveal.
in the fucking
Yeah, so
order.
Wolverine busts. Oh, holy.
I thought that's what we were talking about. They're pulling.
Yeah,
so
but
Deadpool, like, and Paradox is like he's not
you
going
got to
to make
remember
it.
they don't know what's happening, so you got to describe it.
Paradox was watching
talking
Deadpool
about
try to reach the other
Nah.
side and actually save the world, but he couldn't.
Percentage
He's
is
not
like
gonna make
dropping,
it.
dropping.
And then,
It's like 10%, 8%.
I knew this. Yeah, then Wolverine comes out of nowhere, grabs Deadpool's hand, and like he's like,
Yeah, so they're
he does the
holding
fucking
this
Spider-Man
machine.
pose.
They're holding this machine that they're trying to connect it.
They're both thinking about why they're doing this. This is where their resolve is like finished, and they know like one's doing it for their girlfriend or whatever.
Yes.
The other one's doing it to like
To
redemption.
redeem himself.
Yeah.
So, what if Deadpool was going to hold on to both sides? He would have died.
Yeah.
So then Wolverine busts in to help him, and they both hold on to it. Wolverine's because of the power, his whole shirt disintegrates
Rips right off.
to reveal this fucking sexy body.
And
His
Deadpool's
abs
like,
and everything. And,
Looking
yeah,
at his
Deadpool's
abs.
head's like.
And then big explosion. They able to be stronger, and Cassandra Nova disintegrates.
Basically,
Yes.
tug of war at that point. Just
Yeah.
So everything is destroyed,
Yeah.
and then fucking Paradox is like, it
Paradox.
was my decision to do this and destroy Cassandra Nova, and
yeah, they're like,
we helped.
I sent my men down there. They were heroes.
And then they show up, and they're like, "Fuck you."
Yeah, and he's like, fuck. Once Deadpool.
Yeah,
walks
they're
in.
like, "You're a fucking lying piece of shit." And
Meanwhile, that one guy that was staring at Deadpool, he's like, he looks at him again.
Well,
yeah,
no,
so the
he's
TVA
looking
is
at
there
the
questioning
ab.
Paradox.
It's Wolverine comes with his shirt off.
Those washboard abs.
So you have that guy there from the TVA, then there's a girl now.
Yeah, it was the guy who was horny for Deadpool.
Yeah.
Well, that Deadpool said, and he's just staring at Wolverine like, "Holy fuck!"
Yeah, he's so happy.
So shirtless Wolverine, Deadpool, they get Paradox arrested by the TVA.
Yeah.
Now everything is good. And then we find out that what they did saved the timeline. The timeline is not going to end now, which is funny because like they all would have died anyways. Well, I guess not Deadpool and Wolverine, but all of his friends would have died because they said it was going to last thousands of years still before it ended.
Yeah, he didn't need to save the timeline. He just needed to stop Paradox.
So I'm confused on that too. Like, why did it save the timeline?
Because I think they did replace the Wolverine.
Yeah, like it's very not specific, which I like because I don't think Marvel knows what it's doing right now. Because
that's what I think it was, because they had a Wolverine who was like really good. He redeemed himself. He was good, and then the Wolverine did the thing. So now it's like they replaced the Wolverine. So now he's the one if he dies.
That lady, the leader of TVA, she's from the Loki show.
Yeah, I recognized her.
And she says, she has a line where she's like, "Whatever you did saved your world."
Yeah,
and like she's not specific, and that's a good choice.
She said something like we'll be in contact or like this and that because like they did whatever the did, right?
And then
I forgot.
Yeah, so then Wolverine and Deadpool are sitting outside and they're eating shawarma.
Well, actually, wait, before that, it's said that because Deadpool's like, well, since we helped you, could we, we had help doing this, and could we, whatever? And she was like, I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, like could you save a couple people? We lost some of our friends.
Yes, because the storm came in and got
Elektra, Blade,
I'm guessing,
Daphne.
That would have instantly killed them. So I'm guessing they Wesley, Blade and Wesley Snipes. Well, all those people escaped Goliath somehow. Like maybe Ant-Man's armor. I don't know. But yeah, they were saved.
They're sitting on a bench and then they're eating shawarma, which is a callback to the Avengers at the end of the movie because they eat shawarma.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he says like the Avengers invented shawarma. And I'm like, that was the first time I ever fucking heard of that.
Exactly. And then it blew up because what happened was Tony Stark was like, there's a shawarma place down the street. And then at the end credits, they're just eating shawarma. So that was the joke.
Did you, in the beginning of the movie with Happy Hogan, there's a lot of Iron Man helmets. One of them looked like a cartoon. Was that Ironheart or something? It was like a tiny little helmet. Yeah, I don't know. It looked weird.
And then just the end of the movie, they're sitting down in Deadpool's apartment. They're sitting down and you see Daphne there.
Yes. So
all of his friends are there, and it's just a nice moment.
So is that MCU?
No, that's Fox.
Or is that Fox?
That's
Fox. Okay, so Blade is now in that universe, I guess?
I don't know.
I thought they were because they said they know the Avengers.
Yeah.
Well, I'm confused on that, but I know in that world, because they went back to because otherwise, where would his family have been?
Yeah, I don't know. The weirdest, it's weird, but we're gonna see what happened.
Yeah.
Then then it's a nice ending. Deadpool's happy. Vanessa, his girlfriend, he gets back with his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Which is like, okay, horny. Nice, and he's gonna plow his girlfriend. Very happy. And then Wolverine and him are like, they're still gonna be hanging out. Yep. So awesome. But then
Wolverine
we get an end credit scene.
Wolverine moves in with Deadpool.
We get an end credit scene where you find out that fucking Johnny Storm actually did say all that shit about Cassandra.
I know. I love that.
He's like, you know what? She is a fucking
because the entire time Deadpool's saying like Johnny said a bunch of crazy shit about you. Johnny's like, whoa, no, I didn't.
Because you didn't hear it.
Yeah, but I love Chris Evans, Captain America-ish going off like that. Pretty cool.
It was fucking hilarious.
He literally got the tape. He's like, gotcha, and walks out.
But that's the thing. There was a lot of questions in this movie, but I let my brain shut off because the movie was so fun. And that's what you gotta realize sometimes is go to these movies and fucking have fun. Like, I swear, these reviewers were like, the movie was hilarious and I had a good time. If you're laughing consistently and you're like, oh shit, throughout the movie, and then you give it a 7 because the story was you're fucking dumb. You had fun at the movies. That means the movie was good.
That's why
we got also like no other Marvel movie has done this.
Popcorn.
We gotta talk about the fucking popcorn buckets.
These are gonna make so much fucking money.
Yeah.
Look, you can like use it as a piggy bank. Yeah. These are gonna make so much fucking money. The marketing for this movie was fucking insane.
Yeah.
It's such high quality. Like, this is actual rubber here. The mouth moves. This thing fucking spins.
They are.
Like, what the
they
fuck?
put a lot into this, and let me tell you, they're gonna make so much fucking money on merch. They're gonna make so much money on this fucking movie. I swear, this movie's gonna make close to $2 billion.
Also,
it's fucking gonna be huge.
We can talk about box office predictions as well. But first off, this is a fucking cool.
I know this feels like the suit.
Look at that. See the depth. It's an actual face in there.
But okay, that was our Deadpool review. Show all your shit. Yeah. So thank you all for coming. This was the Empty Minds. As always, you can find me at twitch.tv/BigBudge, as well as on this couch Twitch on Mondays with all the boys doing the Empty Minds, as well as we got Mini Minds
Oh, yes.
coming,
Go check
which
out
is a
Mini Minds.
special channel where we do games and we just hang out for like 10 to 15 minutes with you guys, and you're gonna love it. And if you don't, fuck you.
Exactly. So Mini Minds doesn't have artwork yet, but you can go subscribe. The channel is made. It's not. There's no content just yet. But yes, you can find me on Film Tyrant on YouTube, John Odds on Twitch. You can find Brandon over there. as
Bobbity188.
Bobbity on Twitch.
Yeah, and I will also
Force
actually,
Force
by the
Mini
time
Minds.
this is already out, I'll already have my own review out on my channel.
Amazing movie. Holy shit. Metacritic sucks ass.
Metacritic
50%.
will fuck itself.
Yeah, I think the lowest you can go is like 9 out of 10.
This is the best Marvel movie I've watched in a long
movie.
time.
Oh my god! Like that's
A long
I just
time.
can't believe it. People had fun throughout the movie, and you give it a shit review.
See, I need comedy in my Marvel movies. I need some amount of comedy for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, everything's relative. Like
if you
can't
have
judge-
fun throughout
yeah.
the whole movie, that's good. That's what a movie should do.